Kim Jong Un, the supreme leader of North Korea, is a figure shrouded in mystery and intrigue. He inherited a country cloaked in secrecy, isolated from the world by its own design, and governed by an iron fist. His every move is watched, every word analyzed, as the world tries to decipher the intentions of this enigmatic leader, whose actions often defy international norms. Kim Jong Un rose to power in 2011 after the death of his father, Kim Jong Il, marking the continuation of a dynastic rule. He became the third generation of the Kim dynasty to rule North Korea, a country where power is passed down through the family line, maintaining a tight grip on the nation's reins. Despite the global spotlight, much about Kim Jong Un's personal life remains unknown, adding to the aura of mystery that surrounds him. His early years were spent away from the public eye, his education taking place both in North Korea and abroad, including a stint in Switzerland, where he was exposed to Western culture. This air of secrecy extends far beyond Kim Jong Un himself, enveloping the entire nation in a veil of mystery. It permeates every aspect of life in North Korea, creating an environment where information is tightly controlled and the outside world seems a distant rumor, almost like a myth to its citizens. To understand North Korea, one must understand Juche. This ideology, meaning self-reliance, is the bedrock of North Korean society. It was developed by Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea, and Kim Jong Un's grandfather. Juche promotes the idea that North Korea must rely on its own strength and resources. It stresses national self-determination, economic self-sufficiency, and a strong military to defend against perceived threats. This ideology has had a profound impact on North Korea's development, shaping its policies and worldview. It has led to the country's isolation from the global community, as it prioritizes self-reliance over international cooperation. However, the pursuit of Juche has come at a cost. It has created a system where the state controls nearly every aspect of life, from the economy to the media. This has stifled individual freedoms and led to severe economic hardship for many North Koreans. Kim Jong Un's leadership style is a complex mix of continuity and change. He has maintained the iron grip of his predecessors, suppressing dissent and consolidating power within the ruling Workers' Party. He has also shown a willingness to engage with the outside world, a departure from the more isolationist approach of his father. He has held summits with leaders from South Korea, the United States, and other countries. However, these diplomatic overtures have yet to yield any significant breakthroughs. North Korea remains committed to its nuclear weapons program, which it sees as essential for its security and survival. Kim Jong Un has also overseen some economic reforms, allowing for limited private enterprise and market activity. However, these changes have been incremental, and the state still maintains tight control over the economy. North Korea's foreign relations are defined by its history of conflict, its nuclear ambitions, and its dependence on a few key allies. These relationships have shaped its interactions on the global stage. The country's most important relationship is with China, its neighbor to the north. This bond has deep historical roots. China has long been North Korea's main trading partner and a source of diplomatic support, providing a lifeline in times of need. It played a crucial role in supporting North Korea during the Korean War, sending troops and resources to aid its ally. Over the decades, China has continued to provide economic assistance, helping to sustain North Korea's economy. However, relations between the two countries have become increasingly strained in recent years, marked by growing tensions. China has grown weary of North Korea's nuclear tests and its provocative behavior on the world stage, which have caused international concern. North Korea also has a complex and often hostile relationship with South Korea, its neighbor to the south. The two Koreas are technically still at war, as the Korean War ended in an armistice rather than a peace treaty. This armistice has left the Korean peninsula divided and in a state of uneasy truce for decades. There have been periods of dialogue and cooperation between the two Koreas, with hopes for reconciliation, but these have often been short-lived, with progress frequently stalling due to political and military tensions. The division of the Korean peninsula remains one of the most enduring legacies of the Cold War, a stark reminder of past conflicts. North Korea's economy is a stark reminder of the limitations of its self-reliance policy. decades of isolation, coupled with government mismanagement and international sanctions, have left the economy in a perpetual state of crisis. The country faces chronic shortages of food, medicine, and other essential goods. Its infrastructure is crumbling, and its people endure a low standard of living. While Kim Jong Un has implemented some market-oriented reforms, these have been limited in scope and have not addressed the underlying structural problems plaguing the economy. The country's nuclear weapons program has also come at a high economic cost. The pursuit of these weapons has diverted scarce resources away from essential needs, further exacerbating the economic hardship faced by ordinary North Koreans. North Korea's military-first policy, known as Songun, places the Korean People's Army at the center of the country's political and economic life. This policy has resulted in a massive military buildup, despite the country's limited resources. North Korea has one of the largest standing armies in the world, with an estimated 1.2 million active personnel. It also possesses a vast arsenal of conventional weapons, including artillery, tanks, and aircraft. The emphasis on the military has come at the expense of other sectors, such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The country's limited resources are disproportionately channeled towards maintaining and expanding its military capabilities. This militarization has also fueled regional tensions, particularly with South Korea and its allies. North Korea's frequent missile tests and military exercises are seen as provocative and destabilizing by its neighbors. North Korea's nuclear ambitions have been a source of global concern for decades. The country's pursuit of nuclear weapons is seen as a threat to regional and international security. North Korea conducted its first nuclear test in 2006, defying international condemnation and UN Security Council resolutions. Since then, it has conducted several more tests, each time increasing the sophistication of its nuclear arsenal. The country has also developed a sophisticated ballistic missile program, capable of reaching targets as far away as the United States. This has raised alarms in Washington and other capitals, leading to increased sanctions and diplomatic pressure on North Korea. Despite these efforts, North Korea has shown no willingness to give up its nuclear weapons program. It sees these weapons as its ultimate deterrent against foreign aggression and a guarantee of its survival. Behind the facade of military might and ideological pronouncements lies a darker reality in North Korea, a systematic and widespread suppression of human rights. The Kim regime maintains an iron grip on power, controlling every aspect of life and crushing any form of dissent. Freedom of speech, assembly, and religion are non-existent. The media is tightly controlled by the state, and access to outside information is severely restricted. The internet, for most North Koreans, remains an unknown entity. The regime operates a vast network of political prisons and labor camps, where an estimated 80,000 to 120,000 people are held in inhumane conditions. Torture, forced labor, and starvation are commonplace, used to silence any opposition and maintain absolute control. The international community has condemned North Korea's human rights record, but the regime has shown little interest in reform. The plight of the North Korean people remains a tragic reminder of the human cost of tyranny. The future of North Korea is a question that has perplexed observers for decades, with its enigmatic leadership and closed-off society. The country seems trapped in a cycle of isolation, defiance, and economic hardship, with no clear path towards change. The regime's strict control over information and the economy has stifled any potential for growth and innovation. Kim Jong Un has shown some willingness to engage with the outside world, meeting with foreign leaders and participating in high-profile summits. However, his commitment to the country's nuclear weapons program and his iron grip on power remain major obstacles to progress. The international community remains wary of his intentions. The country's economic woes are unlikely to be resolved without significant reforms and a move away from its self-reliance policy. The people of North Korea continue to suffer under these harsh conditions. However, such changes would require a fundamental shift in the regime's ideology and a willingness to relinquish its control over the economy. This is a daunting prospect for a regime that has built its power on strict control and propaganda. The human rights situation in North Korea remains dire, with reports of widespread abuses and a lack of basic freedoms. With no signs of improvement, The daily lives of North Korean citizens are marked by hardship and repression. As long as the Kim regime remains in power, the prospects for meaningful change appear slim. The leadership's focus on maintaining its grip on power overshadows any potential for reform. The international community faces a difficult challenge in dealing with North Korea. Balancing the need for engagement with the necessity of maintaining pressure is a delicate task. Engagement and dialogue are essential, as they provide a platform for potential progress and understanding. But so too is the need to maintain pressure on the regime to abandon its nuclear ambitions and improve its human rights record. The path forward is fraught with challenges, but the hope for a better future remains.